Greetings my dears in love and light. Nikki Sutton here. Now today I just wanted to talk to you about 7 realizations that I had on my path to happiness. Now this is by no means an exhaustive list, but this is 7 realizations that I had to help me personally find happiness. Number one is that creation began with a thought, and that thought was love. Now, we may wonder about the nature of our reality, but we can be quite safe in the knowledge, even if we don't know, we don't understand, and it's not for our human brains to really understand just yet, but we can be safe in the knowledge that all is thought. And that initial thought, by creation, by the one infinite being that is everything that we see around us, God if you will, it's one infinitely intelligent being made of energy or information that we interact with, and we are part of this being. Now it's almost as if this being had a thought, and this thought was everything that there is. And this kind of being is beyond any kind of being that we might be able to perceive. An infinite being, this is infinitely intelligent and conscious. And that first thought it had, let's pretend it was love. The thought was love, and all else is distortion. Now, it's our job to return to that love, to that original thought. Everything else is a deviation from that original thought. If love is the truth and the original thought, and everything else that happens that lowers our vibration, it's just another challenge on the path, on the way back to love, then it can help us find happiness. Because we know that the core of everything is love, that everything is thought, and that if we hold love in our hearts, in our minds, as much as we can, we're not perfect, we can't walk around being positive all the time. We can try, but there's work that needs to be done before we can get to that point. But we can be happy in the knowledge that we can return to that place of love, and that's returning to the Creator, that's returning to the truth, that's returning to the original thought, which we have set for ourselves in this lifetime, the challenge of working back towards. And the more you work back towards love, the closer you are coming to oneness with all things and creation. Right, number 2 on realizations I had to help me find happiness is forgiveness. Now, the great thing about forgiveness is, 1, it's the eradicator of karma. So, karma's not a punishment, it's just something that we set for ourselves, these learning aims, these objective aims in each of these lifetimes. We may not have fulfilled what we wanted to achieve in another lifetime. And then in this one, we call it karma because it happens again, it repeats again to try and learn the lesson. So a lot of the time, forgiveness eradicates karma, forgiveness of self and forgiveness of others. Now another thing that forgiveness does is that it takes the negative energy that we carry in ourselves, grudges and things, feeling negative about someone. If we forgive them, then we're letting go of that negativity, which is only disrupting our mind, body, spirit complex at the end of the day. If we manage to have forgiveness somehow, we're doing ourselves a service too. And we're doing the other person a service as well, because we're not projecting more negativity onto them, no matter what they've done. So having forgiveness and finding that forgiveness is like a big heavy burden of a backpack being cast off. So forgiveness can be reached through understanding, and this is what I always say is the way to forgiveness, and forgiveness is the release. So let's say there's someone in our past that we hold a grudge against, Let's say it's a partner that wronged us once upon a time, and now we carry forward sort of issues that stop us from being able to fall in love again or open up again, things like that. And it sort of triggers us when we get close to someone or get intimate with someone. It triggers us, and we can't be ourselves, we can't let go, we can't have a happy relationship just yet because we haven't forgiven the other one yet. Now, by forgiving them, we heal the self as well. We heal the self because we let go of that negativity we're still holding for that person. We work on the healing so we can move forward and have happy relationships again. Now, how do we do that? We look at what went on. We look at the person, we look at their circumstances, we look at their backstory. So, through understanding, I could have forgiveness of an ex-partner by thinking things like, he has a sad backstory. He maybe didn't have enough emotional support as a child. Maybe he drinks too much. Why does he do that? Maybe because, again, he's a bit traumatised from his upbringing, or he's been hurt in the past, or he's very stressed because of his job, or he's in debt and it makes him very sad and he took it out on me. Now, none of those things I'm saying are excusable, being unkind to you, but we can have understanding of why that person was the way they were, and therefore a bit of release. Oh, I see. He was a proper so-and-so because he had a tough time of it and he didn't know any better, he knows not what he does and took it out on me, etc. This isn't a real story necessarily, by the way, but it's just an example. So through this understanding of the other person, we can release that burden of hatred for what they did, but now we kind of understand what led them to do that, and in a way we feel a bit sorry for them. So there's an example. On the road to happiness, forgiveness really helps cast off those negative bits of emotional baggage and traumas. Forgiveness is great for healing those traumas of the past. And number 3, on 7 realizations I had to achieve happiness, is that happiness is found within. Now, I always say about this, so I'll just scoot over it. And, you can read a bit of Eckhart Tolle and understand that happiness is found within, and others too. But it's that moment when you realise where happiness is found, and then you have that sweeping realisation that can change your reality. And if you haven't truly digested that, this is why I say it to you again. The happiness is found within and not out there, and nothing out there can make you happy. It's how you allow yourself to feel. So that means you have a little bit of say over the emotion. So where is it found? Now, a lot of spiritual people, they realise things like, happiness is not found in this nice car. Happiness is not found in this new gadget. Happiness is not found by getting likes on social media. And happiness is not found by having the best career, better than everyone else, or one-upmanship on other people. So happiness is not there, and we realise this. So where is happiness? Where is it? Oh, right. It's manufactured in my own mind, body and spirit. So if I look within and choose happiness, now what's one way to do that? How about, I look at what I have already. My health, I'm grateful for that. My family, I'm grateful for them. Even if they can be a bother sometimes for some people. What else have I got? I've got everything I need to live and survive. In an ideal system, we would have a lot more abundance, yes, but we have gratitude for what we have, and that's one way of finding the happiness, actually. Instead of looking to those far horizons to make us happy. And then when we get to the far horizon, a new far horizon presents itself. So you never do get to that far horizon that was supposed to make you happy, because another one just presents itself. So give yourself a break and look inside. Be present in the moment. Because at the end of the day, the moment is all we really have, is right now. Okay, so another realisation that I had on the way to achieving happiness is thinking about, who am I? That's a funny question. Now, this is something that happens when you have a spiritual awakening. Suddenly that who am I gets shot to pieces because we think, everything's changed, I've changed, who am I in this reality? Because I perceive reality completely differently now. So what does that mean for me? Where do I fit in? Feel a bit unsafe? Who am I? So that's a big question that comes up. So that's the ego death, the dissolution of the ego. But as we move forward from that initial, sometimes scary realization, and we're trying to rebuild the self, some people, you need to consciously think about that sometimes. When you've had ego death, you need to consciously think about rebuilding the self, actually. Who am I then? So that's examining the beliefs you've picked up, choosing new beliefs, looking at yourself and what you're happy with, like to what extent I do measure my worth by career or by what other people think. Consciously look at that and maybe work on that. So who am I? What are my preferences? Am I happy with the way I feel about certain things? Do I need some healing? And so it's self-mirroring, becoming able to be your own mirror. So as we grow up, we rely on our parents to mirror for us and tell us how we're doing. So I might say to my child, good girl, and she'd see, it's like I'm a mirror. I say, good girl, and she knows she's a good girl. I'm mirroring that. Or if I say, don't do that, that's dangerous, then I'm mirror holding up, showing how she's doing. So as we grow up, some of us don't have the ability to self-mirror because we're not always taught, or hardly ever taught, how to self-mirror and think about how am I doing? And so we often worry about what other people think about us too much. And that's looking for mirrors, looking for workmates or friends or family. That's why we're very affected by what other people think of us all the time. Why do I care so much what they think? The reason is because you're looking for mirrors. You're looking for validation and gratification to make you feel loved, included, wanted, feel good enough. But you can start becoming your own mirror. And that's one way, part of the question of who am I is learning how to self-mirror. And I'll decide if I'm good enough. And I'll decide what I should do in life and my aims and everything. You're your own judge, but obviously don't judge yourself too harshly, but you're your own judge. Okay, and as I say, questioning old beliefs. So throw away those things that were given to you, those beliefs and perceptions, question them, question the old thoughts, especially religious ones. I have quite a lot of clients that have a sort of religious background, and therefore there's things like a bit of fear or fear of being judged. So it's choosing who you are and being your own mirror. So number 5 on realizations that I had that helped me achieve happiness is to know that all is the creator. All is creation. Now, I mentioned at the beginning of this video that we are all part of the one infinite being. Now, one thing about that is knowing that when you look on another person, you're looking on yourself, because we're all part of the one infinite consciousness that is our reality. And so when you look on another person, you're effectively looking on yourself. I know it doesn't feel like it, but you're an individualized portion of consciousness within this one infinite being. So when you look on another person, if you have hatred for them, it's like you're projecting on yourself. You're projecting it into your surroundings and back on yourself. And by projecting it onto them, we're all linked, we're all one, so it's coming back on you. It's a bit like in the movie Avatar. This is where you say I've been watching too many movies, where all the trees and everything's all linked, it's all one. Now imagine you are linked to every other human being, and animal and vegetable and mineral, but imagine you're linked to every other human being in that way. If you're projecting hatred onto them, it's linking back on you. So knowing that all is the creator, how does that help with happiness? It's because if there's someone who's being negative towards you, you can know that they're just another part of you providing you with experience, just another part of the creator. And that you and me and them, we're all one, and we're never really alone because we're all one being. It helps you with realizations of love. See my video on how to love everyone and everything. And as I said in the beginning, returning to that original thought of love helps you to experience more happiness. And number 6 is the realization that life is a journey of learning and experience. So you think, well, other people are on their own journeys, so even if they behave a certain way and you can't relate to them, they're on their own path. If you're trying to help someone maybe have a few realizations to do with spirituality or awakening and they're not listening, well, that's their own path. They'll get there in the end. And in addition, about life being a journey of learning and experience, is that even when bad things happen, it's a challenge to overcome, and your soul is progressing, it's evolving, and consciousness is ever moving forward. So by having these challenges, you're learning and experiencing and ascending and knowing what everything is like to experience. And if you get through it and you learn the lessons that were set down by probably yourself before your lifetime, and give yourself a pat on the back, and it helps you to sort of slightly detach a little bit, not be swept up in worries and intense thought, because well, this is a journey and I'm on it and I've got learning and experiencing to do. And number 7, realizations I had to help me achieve happiness is not to resist. If we're resisting, we're not learning those lessons, we're pushing it away. If we're feeling negative emotions each negative emotion is a signpost that healing is needed. If we're resisting them, pushing them away, we're not learning the lessons that our subconscious is telling us. We're not listening to ourselves that we need healing. So don't resist negative emotions, it's a signpost for healing. Don't resist experience, because just like I mentioned, karma, it often comes back around, and you attract more of it by resisting it, because that's saying what resists persists. So even if it's a bit crappy and negative, try not to resist it, let it wash over you, deal with it. It's a challenge, just try and deal with it. I'm not saying deal with it, I'm saying just try to deal with it, because it is a challenge on your path. Let it come, find a way to deal with it, and don't resist it. By putting up that negative emotional resistance, feeling negative emotions, because that's often what comes with resistance, you're just creating more disruption in yourself. Let it come, let it flow, and then you'll manifest something better. So if something terrible happens, don't resist by getting upset. Take it one step at a time. Don't resist. Sort it out. Okay? So that's 7 realizations I had that helped me to find happiness. Now, what's some ways that have helped you to find happiness? I'll be interested to know, and please let others know too. So don't forget to click subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, to receive regular spiritual inspiration on your journey through life. Like and share also, because we're raising the mass vibration together. So go now in love and peace.